Look, our trust is to be in God, not in some system or practice or belief or theology, but in a person. God as the most wonderful person you can conceive of. And in fact, way beyond. That's your God. And wonderful from your point of view, according to what you truly at heart find that you value. And you're going to worship him with all your heart, soul, mind and strength, because what else could you worship but what you truly value? And in being true to that, you will find God is true to you. We meet the child where he is, not where he should be in our notion of maturity. In other words, the whole thing turns on relationship, as the Jesus story would have it, that you're in a relationship as parent to child, father to son, dad. Divine mum, if you like, perfect parent. I mean, gender is irrelevant really, except that gender assumed might imply certain ways of relating to you. For instance, if I say father, I get the impression of rather formal, cold, Victorian approach. Whereas if I say dad, it's more loving, it's more of the qualities that I also associate with mum, you see. Perhaps you see God as Divine Mother. Well, okay. Jesus' story prefers to go for father, and possibly because of typical cultures that people have lived in down the ages. I don't know. There will always be uncertainty. My trust and faith is not in what I know. It's in a person to whom I attribute all goodness, all blessing, all loveliness. God. So don't be deceived. It's not that, Kriya Yoga is going to get you there, or following Guru so-and-so is going to get you there. Patanjali or anyone else. It might. It might not. And probably you'll misunderstand what they were recommending anyway, and therefore still be doing it your way. And true, you are putting your trust, perhaps, if you have a guru, in a person. Well, you should choose the best person, which is your God. That's the only one you can really love. Otherwise, you will always be in doubt. But when you're in doubt with your God, well, you change your view of God. You sort of think, well, hang on. That doesn't look quite right. That can't be my God. So your view of God adjusts. And rightly so, from your experience. Quite simply from the lessons he's teaching you. They are your experience. And the advice you come across, but you sift it. You don't just accept it. You sift it with discernment of what you value to date. And when something's said that you think, oh, I don't like that. At some point, Paramahansa's apparently teaching Kriyananda that to kill is not a problem in itself, it's the desire to kill. And so he then assures him, supposedly, by telling him to go and boil some water and pour it on an ant's nest. And Kriyananda sort of thinks, poor creatures, and rightly so. Quite simply, Paramahansa is wrong. It's as simple as that. You could say in some bizarre way he's right, but you'd be wrong. Most probably. Not for certain. But I'm pretty certain there's no way I would wish to be doing that. It's not my God. Do you see? You have to be true to your God, not someone else's. You're true to your God and you trust that part of your God is He will lead you through. He will teach you. He will guide you. He will come and correct you, your view, so that you get it right in as kind a way as is possible, probably by advice that you might reject, you might accept, possibly by example that you might see, you might not, possibly by experience. And He decides which experiences may train you best, because He loves you to bits. You're His child. Wow. Fancy being a child of God. Bless you. Thank you, Dad. Well, references would be chapter 25 of Kriyananda's Paramhansa Yogananda a biography. And the ants example was on page 188, which was earlier than chapter 25. All of which is very suspect. Following someone who is less than God is not equivalent to loving God and being devoted to Him. This principle of life from the Hebrew point of view was, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind and strength, and none other shalt thou serve. And love thy neighbour, who is defined by Jesus as the person who rescues you when you're in dire straits. Love your neighbour, the one that rescues you, as yourself. Which is not loving Him as you love God, but rather less.